far from the mud and blood of Normandy's hedgerows. Back in the workshops of England, a different kind of battle was being waged. Far from the mud and blood of Normandy's hedgerows, back in the workshops of England, a different kind of battle was being waged. In early 1944, inside the Vickers Armstrong's factory, the air was thick with the screech of metal grinders and the sharp smell of welding torches. This was the hidden forge where British ingenuity was about to awaken. Major George Brighty, a tough Royal Armored Corps officer, slammed his grease-stained fist on a drafting table covered in blueprints. His team of engineers, their overalls dusted with steel shavings, huddled around him. The subject of their intense focus? The American M4 Sherman tank. It was reliable, it was plentiful, but its standard 75mm gun was a pea-shooter against the German Panther and Tiger tanks. "It's not enough," Brighty growled, pointing at the schematics. Reports from Italy were grim. Shermans were getting knocked out left and right, their crews trapped in burning hulks nicknamed Runsons because they lit up on the first strike. The British had a solution, a monster of a weapon called the 17-pounder anti-tank gun. This beast could punch through over 130 millimeters of steel from 500 yards away. The problem? Fitting it into the Sherman's turret seemed impossible. The gun's recoil was ferocious, and its breech was just too big for the American design. The engineering challenge was a nightmare. But Captain David Fletcher, an expert from the Bovington Tank Museum, declared, "We'll make it work." And they did. The team worked relentlessly, enlarging the turret ring, adding a heavy counterweight to the back of the turret to balance the long barrel, and even reshaping the gun mantlet. Sparks flew as welders grafted new pieces of steel onto the turret, the heat warping metal in a display of controlled fury. Test firings on the proving grounds were deafening. The 17-pounder's roar was like thunder, and its shells tore clean through the armor of captured German tanks. Success was sweet, but production was rushed and secrecy was everything. The modified Shermans were nicknamed Fireflies for their brilliant muzzle flash, but they were painted in the same olive drab as a standard Sherman. They were wolves in sheep's clothing, designed for ambush. As the first Fireflies rolled off the landing craft onto the beaches of Normandy, they were mixed into British armored regiments, usually one Firefly for every 3 or 4 standard Shermans. The idea was to maximize the element of surprise. Trooper Bill Cotton, a young gunner in a Sherwood Rangers Yeomanry Firefly, felt the difference right away. The turret was cramped, and the heavy gun made the tank feel off balance, but looking down that long barrel was empowering. "This'll give Jerry a nasty surprise," he whispered to his loader as they rumbled through the shell-pocked fields of France. Allied commanders knew they were outgunned. Intelligence reports painted a grim picture of German panzer superiority. But the Firefly was the equalizer, a secret weapon that could finally level the playing field. Back in his headquarters, Hans von Luck's unease grew. Radio chatter was filled with strange reports. A Tiger tank from the elite 101st SS, Heavy Panzer Battalion, had been knocked out by a Sherman round that actually penetrated its side armor. The German crew bailed out, completely bewildered. "Must be a fluke," von Luck told his officers, but the seed of doubt was planted. His scouts reported a British armored push near the village of Villers-Bocage, where the infamous Tiger ace Michael Wittmann and his tanks lay in ambush. A collision was inevitable. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the devastated landscape, Trooper Cotton's Firefly crew camouflaged their tank behind a shattered stone wall. The 17-pounder's muzzle peeked through a gap, aimed down a narrow country lane. Cotton's heart pounded as he peered through his gun sight. And then he saw it, the unmistakable silhouette of a Panther tank, advancing confidently, its crew completely unaware of the deadly surprise waiting for them. The Germans still scoffed at the Sherman, but that was all about to change. One squeeze of the trigger, and the great reversal would begin.